매번 야야야야야 불러 널 야야야야 내 맘을 고백하려고 타이밍만 보는 나 그런 나를 넌 보며 왜 그러냐고 묻네 너 때문에.
The hustle and the bustle of the hospital suddenly went down the moment a few men entered inside the hospital. Giving a flirty wink towards a woman on the counter, a man walked along with his injured friend. Both the older men burst into a feast of laughter, looking at their magnate. Jungkook, who is a mafia, whose one glance can make people shiver, was made being fun of. Jungkook glared at his friends and punched him in the stomach, but the moment his eyes were laid on a certain doctor, he yelped, holding his arm, and said, Jungkook quickly held his other arm, and the people who saw him pulling the little stunt stood there not believing their eyes. You were going to your cabin after checking upon the patients, but then you heard the very familiar voice and saw him. He was standing there holding his arm as if he was in lots of pain. You moved towards him and forwarded your hand in his direction to look at the wound, but before that, his friend from the left side suddenly made a crying face and said, You awkwardly smiled at him and saw that his friend from the right side of Jungkook smacked his head. Only Jungkook looked the sane one in the group, but even he was on the verge of slamming a punch on their faces. You looked at both the men and took Jungkook along with you. Since he was a mafia and he came to the hospital every now and then for some reasons, he had his own private cabin in the hospital. Well, perks of having money. He literally bought the whole hospital a week ago. So, having a private cabin for him was no big deal to him. Both of you arrived at his cabin and Jungkook sat on the bed. While you were preparing the antiseptic, you felt someone's hard stare on your face. You turned around only to find him looking at you. You nodded your head and moved towards him to remove his coat. While you were unbuttoning his coat, you felt his hands on your waist. You shook your head while sighing and removed his coat. While you were bent trying to free his injured arm from his coat sleeve, you felt his breath on your cheeks. You glanced at him, still trying to remove his hand, and found him smiling, looking at your face. He softly pecked your cheeks, which made you jump away from him. Jung mumbled to himself, but you clearly heard it all. Your face turned red and you moved away from him to get the tray of all the cotton and antiseptic to clean his wound.